How is it going, loves? It's Alyse here, and today I'm going to be diving into a little follow-up video in reference to my carnivore challenge video, which was recently uploaded and reached a lot of people all around the world. A lot of different news articles shared it. It was on Fox News, which was pretty crazy. And I'm here with my puppy Silo. Hopefully you don't hear him panting. And there's also kids next door who have a birthday party and they're in this big unicorn bouncy house. So we are going to cross our fingers that audio and everything is good for this video, because I'm going to be here for a second talking about a lot of the top comments on that video and just a whole bunch of different things. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first things first is I just want to highlight how many of you actually received a lot of positive takeaways from this video. I am so glad that my intention in the message and what I wanted to share in this video and this challenge and the whole point of the experiment, I'm so glad that it was received by so many of you. So I just want to go through, I have like a little outline for this video just so I touch on all the things that are really important to you and also to me. So some of the main takeaways that you guys received from this video is that in general, it's okay to try new things, even if it is not something that society deems as normal. It's okay to dive in and to run your own little experiments, dive into challenges. And another takeaway that you guys had was that you appreciated that I didn't sugarcoat this experience and that I was really honest with it, and gave like a wholesome view of it, and yeah, didn't just share it as like this amazing transformative thing, because it wasn't. My results were pretty neutral. There were definitely some more positives than negatives, but overall you guys really appreciated like the general summary that I shared with you. And what else? There's definitely a lot of takeaways from individuals who are no longer following the vegan lifestyle and are happy that I have separated myself from that community. It's really interesting because when I was plant-based, we'll just go with that title. When I was plant-based, I didn't really see the vegan or plant-based community being negative in any way. I remember people being like, oh, like, doesn't that feel extreme for you? Or like, don't you know a lot of people who are very extreme in that regard? And I guess I was kind of blinded by it because I was in it. But yeah, there were a lot of people who are just happy that I have extracted myself out of that. A lot of you guys who watch this video also could really, really resonate hardcore with regaining your health after veganism or after eating more plant-based. So that obviously makes me really happy that individuals have experienced regaining their health in some regard, and it's a humbling experience. It's not fun to kind of look back and be like, wait, what I was doing hurting me in some regard? So that was one of the big takeaways. Another is that there were a lot of you who haven't seen my videos in like over a year or a really long time, and that you popped back in, saw this video, and were like, whoa, you look way healthier. A lot of different comments about the way that I looked previously, and just that I kind of carry this more healthy vibe to me. And just overall that this video was a really good message for body image. And obviously I'll get later into this video on how there are different views on that, but there were a lot of you who thought that it was a really positive message and just positive to see me in general regain my strength, regaining a healthy body weight, and just overall feeling good in my body, and also noticing the way that I'm communicating differently, more clear-minded. All of those things. A lot of you said that it was really inspiring to see that like healthy transformation. Okay, so let's dive into some of the top comments from this carnivore challenge video. I just want to speak directly to these comments. And yeah, instead of just typing out like a long message, I'd rather just be totally real and answer in this format. So hopefully this vibes with you. So one of the first comments I want to speak to is, it seems like you want to punish the whole vegan movement because your plant-based diet didn't go well for you. Whoa. Whoa, that is a heavy-heated comment. And yeah, I say that not trying to joke around or anything. There's a lot in that comment. So no, I'm not trying to punish the whole vegan movement. I am simply sharing my experience of stepping out of a certain box, stepping out of a certain way of looking at the world, and just like not letting a label or a box or one lifestyle confine me. I'm just open to trying new things and seeing what each thing, each lifestyle, each diet is all about. The way that I see this is like in the grand scheme of things, I am in my mid-20s right now. I am loving trying new things and having these personal experiences. And 50 years from now, am I still going to be trying all these different diets for 30 days, all these different ways of living? Like, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing 50 years from now, but I do know that I feel trying out these different things is adding value to my life at this point in time, so I'm going with that. No, I'm not trying to punish the whole movement. I'm literally just like, I'm just doing me. I'm not trying to give a bad name to veganism in any way, shape, or form, and I truly don't hope that in me diving into this challenge for a given period of time, like, that is giving a bad name to veganism. I've made it very, very clear that my intention in sharing that challenge and diving into that challenge was to learn new things and to share the message that it is good to embrace change and to experience things for ourselves. So my experience of losing and regaining my health humbled me a fuck ton, like a lot. And I'm not here to say that one way of eating, one side is right or wrong. 100% not here to do that. And that's to also tack on to the last question. I'm not trying to give either side or way of eating a bad name in any way, shape, or form. I'm so not doing that. What I have learned since stepping outside of the vegan plant-based lifestyle is that there are claims to back up anything and everything. So that is why this is so controversial, is there is so much evidence to back up plant-based eating and how wonderful that is for the environment and our health and everything. And there are also an equivalent amount of claims, maybe not equivalent, don't mark my words on that. There are claims to back up carnivore eating, ketogenic eating, paleo eating, not plant-based eating, and how that is actually better for our environment and our health. So what I've learned is to not take sides. And when I was vegan, I did not allow myself to look at opposing evidence or science or facts or anything that would support the opposing side. What I have learned since then, and since opening my eyes to other perspectives and other information, is that there is a fuck ton of rodents and insects and small animals that are killed in the process of growing and harvesting corn and wheat and soy and rice and all of these different vegan staple items. And not only that, but the resources that it takes to yield mass quantities of crops like that is arguably worse for the environment than it is to be raising grass-fed beef, which is mind-blowing, and I just didn't even take a look at that until I was not vegan anymore. So again, I'm not here to take sides, and this video was not about me taking the opposing side to veganism. It was simply to share the important message, in my opinion, important message to be open to learning new things. Okay, one of the next comments or themes in the comment section is that I was glamorizing the carnivore diet and only focusing on the positives, not talking about the negative side effects of eating this way for the long run. So I understand where this is coming from. I understand how it could seem confusing that I would go from so passionately sharing my food, my diet, my lifestyle, to now eating a completely different way, even if it's only temporary for a challenge. Like, I understand where it feels inconsistent and confusing there, but I also want to highlight the fact that during the last year or so that I was vegan, it was very clear that I was struggling with my health. I was very open and transparent. I was talking about mold. I was talking about my congestion, like for a long period of time, probably 2 years before I stopped being vegan. I remember being at this specific house in Hawaii and I was just so congested and I was like, I don't know if I'm sick, allergies. Like, I was very openly like, yo, something is up. Even if it wasn't in every single video, I didn't know if it was diet related at all. I didn't know if it was environment related, but I was openly struggling. And again, maybe not in every single video, because maybe that wasn't something that I wanted to highlight in every single video, but I want to, yeah, I guess just touch on that and make it clear that I wasn't pushing anything under the rug and like trying to pretend that everything was fine. I wanted to feel healthier, but I was definitely clearly struggling before I transitioned my diet. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that in this particular video, in this carnivore challenge video, I was not glamorizing the carnivore diet. Well, in my opinion, I gave like a very, very unbiased approach, and I was like, here are the things that I noticed. I might have lost a couple pounds. I might have felt like my stomach was a little bit flatter. My digestion was pretty good, but I also very clearly said, like, the first couple of weeks or so, I was like, I'm going to shift a couple things because my digestion is not amazing. By the end of it, it was amazing. I was intermittent fasting, eating maybe 2-ish meals a day, maybe 3 meals a day, and was just, yeah, being really conscious of the food I was consuming, but I was making shifts so that I could experience better digestion. I wasn't like, oh my God, I woke up and everything was absolutely perfect for the full 30 days, like in any way, shape, or form. At least I feel that I highlighted the things I was struggling with in the challenge and highlighted the things that were going well. But overall, when I look back at my experience from that challenge, like, it was more neutral, leaning on the good side. Like, I was feeling good, mental clarity was good, but it was like, it wasn't absolutely incredibly amazing. It wasn't horrible. So yeah, as far as like not knowing if you can trust me because I'm saying like, oh, the benefits from this are so amazing and the benefits from veganism are so amazing, and then they weren't, like, I don't know, it just, it feels like that is a skewed perception on what I'm actually sharing, and it's looking at some of the information that I'm sharing, some of the results that I'm sharing, but not necessarily all of it. So there are pros and cons to any eating style, right? To any diet, there are pros and cons. We've learned that with a plant-based diet. We've learned that with a carnivore diet, like literally pros and cons to all diets, short-term and long-term pros and cons, right? The reason that I was not making a point to fit in the long-term potential side effects of eating this way is because I was not approaching this like diving into this diet for years and years and years, right? I was diving into it for 30 days to just see what findings I experienced within that time period. So to me, that didn't necessarily need to be fit into that video. But obviously it's important when you're diving into anything to look at what the potential side effects could be, right? So I learned before diving into it, some of the potential side effects would be situations with cholesterol, like too high of cholesterol, not enough electrolytes. A lot of people who eat more animal-based diets supplement with electrolytes and magnesium. Also, I had multiple friends who have been eating this way long-term. Michaela Peterson, who is featured in my video, also my friend Paul Saladino, Sean Baker. I know a lot of people personally who have been eating this way for years and years and years and are doing significantly well. So for me, this was not an issue. This wasn't a concern of any sort, I should say. But yeah, just wanted to share that's why I didn't prioritize putting a little snippet of like, hey, this could lead to not enough electrolytes. This could lead to like a couple of different things in the long run, is because I wasn't diving into this for the long run. That was not my intention. And if like during the 30 days or after the 30 days, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, I want to keep going. At that point, I would be sharing if I was going to continue going and like what the plan for the future would be, what the potential drawbacks would be. But again, that wasn't the situation. So just to clear that up. A big theme in the comment section was this idea of we can't trust you because you, and the reason I'm looking over here is I just have notes so I don't forget anything, is because you talked about these benefits with veganism and then revealed major health issues, so why should we trust what you say now? And so I wrote up this little story, this little example, is that if someone used to love skiing when they were younger and they got really good at it, they started skiing professionally, winning awards for it, becoming very well known, like a public figure within the skiing realm world, and then they started to develop knee issues and injuries from it once they got into their young adult years. And then they adjusted accordingly, and they're like, cool, I'm not willing to like ruin my body for this. I'm gonna shift focus, and all of a sudden, like, I'm starting to fall in love with painting. I'm shifting to a new hobby and I'm enjoying it so much. Would you look at that person and be like, I don't trust you anymore. I don't trust that what you said about skiing and your love for skiing was ever real. I don't trust that you actually love painting now. And I don't trust anything that you are going to do as a hobby in the future, because you just switched so hardcore from this sport to this hobby, night or day. Like, you must have never even cared about skiing because you're not doing that anymore. And like, how am I gonna believe that you care about painting when you said that you loved skiing so much? How could you switch to something if you loved that so much? Like, I came up with this example, and I don't know, maybe this is a weird example, maybe there's a better one I could have come up with, but to me, that doesn't mean that everything in that person's past is a lie, just because they shifted focus for a particular reason. Okay, so there was also a trend in comments surrounding the fact that this video was sponsored by ButcherBox, and also people saying, stop monetizing disordered eating, you're promoting extreme and restrictive dieting, your audience is very easily influenced. I wanna just clear the air here and make it known that this video was not me hardcore promoting the carnivore diet to anyone who is watching this video, but it was a video message that is to simply be open-minded to learning new things and trying new things and embracing change. So I understand how me sharing the fact that this was a diet challenge video can be perceived as you're promoting that. But the message was very clearly shared in the beginning of the video and at the end of the video to embrace change, try new things, open your perspective to any different aspect of life. I want to just sit down for a second and help you understand what sponsored videos are all about with full transparency. So over the past 5 years on YouTube, I have only partnered with a handful of different companies to have them sponsor a video. And those companies are Poshmark, Thrive Market, Lifesum, Carealoha, and ButcherBox. I may be forgetting one or two, but I believe those are the only companies that have paid and sponsored a video. There are various companies that I've worked with who have sent me product or allowed me to use their services in exchange for sharing something online. And again, I keep those to a minimum. I have not worked with that many companies in the past 5 years. And there are so many brands out there who ask for specific speaking points. Like, they will not work with you unless you say exactly what they want you to say about their product and about their brand. I refuse to work with any company who does that. I learned my lesson from my first ever sponsored video, which I'll just be totally transparent about. It was with Jamba Juice, and they had specific speaking points that they wanted me to include in the video, and I went through the whole process, and it felt so inauthentic and just like didn't feel good. It felt really hard for me to complete that video and to just go through that whole process in general. And I promised myself I would never work with a company again that had requirements, like specific speaking points that they needed me to say about their product. It just didn't feel right. So nothing that I share on this channel since that one video 4 or 5 years ago has been anything other than my genuine, authentic experience. And I will not work with a company if I haven't already used their product and service and am an advocate for it. The majority of these bigger companies that have sponsored a video are companies or brands that I've already been using their products before they sponsored. So I either reached out to them or they reached out to me, and it was like a seamless, aligned, authentic, like just it totally made sense to collaborate in that regard. When I work with a brand, I see it as a win-win for everybody involved. If I'm working with a brand, it's a company that I love, so it's a win for me to be able to get paid to share about my experience using their product or their service. It's a win for the brand that I work with because they get exposure to this community, and likely some individuals will be interested in the product or service that they provide. And it's a win for you to learn about my experience with this product and to just get exposed to and learn about different products or services or brands that may align with you and may add value to your life in any way, shape, or form. So I know that I haven't shared about that as in depth in any other video until now. And yeah, I just wanted to be totally real about the whole entire process, what my experience working with people has been in the past, where it is now. And yeah, I just want to talk about that because it seems like there's this strange ongoing like bad taste in a lot of people's mouths about brand collaborations, sponsored videos. And I get it because technically if I was to be sharing specific speaking points and this wasn't my real experience, that would be kind of weird. And like I don't know, I personally don't drive with that. I know that other influencers do that just to like make a quick buck, and like honestly, I've left a lot of money on the table. I've left probably $20,000+ on on the table because I refuse to work with certain companies that want me to rep products that I don't use or speak about their products that is not my actual experience. So hopefully that clears the air for you and you can see how it is a win-win-win for everybody involved. Okay, it's getting dark and it looks like I have 4 minutes left of bandwidth on this memory card, so we're gonna try and knock this out. One of the last themes and comments on this video is that I am privileged, that I can only imagine how expensive this is. I wish I could afford a butcher box. That's an expensive diet, but I support you either way. Oh yeah, Alyse, because everyone can just afford grass-fed beef, you're so privileged. So a lot of themes in that section. Yes, I grew up in a middle-class white family, which grants me a certain level of privilege that not everybody has. And for anybody who has been here since the very beginning, you know that I left a lot of that on the table. You know that about 4 years ago or so, I dropped out of school, I moved to Hawaii, I was on food stamps, I was not bringing in much income at all at that time, and I basically started from fresh. I started from ground zero, and I put in so much time and energy and work and believed in myself for this entire freaking journey. Before I even got on YouTube, I was cruising, grinding, and just believing in my dreams and what I wanted to cultivate into reality. And I just want to highlight that yes, I have come from a privileged background, but the message that I share here on this channel is to believe in yourself and to work for what you want. So I share this because a lot of these comments are also saying, I wish I could afford ButcherBox. And I just want to share with you to not let your past or your present dictate your future. Make up your mind and what you want your life to be and believe in your ability to make it happen. Believe in the power that you have to make it happen and start with small steps that you can take. Instead of trying to go from here to where you really desire to be, take small steps every day, break it down. Instead of allowing yourself to be angry at somebody who can afford something that you want to be able to afford, make up your mind and admit that this is something that you have the desire to have, and then get clear on how you're gonna make that happen. How are you gonna save up for it? How are you gonna work harder? How are you gonna work smarter? What can you change in your life that's going to allow you to have that reality for yourself? I didn't get to where I am by twiddling my thumbs. I got here by working hard and believing in myself and not taking no for an answer. That is a congruent message that I share amongst all of my videos, and that's something I stand behind full force. The lighting is getting so bad in here. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I just want to be here present with you in this moment and validate your concerns and your opinions and perspectives on this extreme diet, this extreme challenge. I understand that in theory, the carnivore diet is restrictive. It is extreme in some ways, but there are reasons that an individual would dive into this and benefit from this. A lot of people try this out because they have various different health conditions that they are looking to clear up. And so essentially this is an elimination diet. You are eliminating so many foods that could be triggering various symptoms within the body. And it's just like any elimination diet. And a lot of people dive back into reintroducing foods, and it's just a learning process to be able to figure out what foods respond well with your body and just learning about your body in general. A lot of individuals eat this way long term because it is the only way that they have found to keep their symptoms manageable or to completely eradicate various symptoms and health conditions. So yes, it sounds extreme. Yes, it is pretty crazy. My friend Michaela Peterson has been eating this way for over 2 years. Only beef, not even eggs or seafood or poultry or anything, just only beef, salt, and water. And she has had a remarkable turnaround with her health. And there are these oddball stories that you hear, and then you hear about a lot of different people trying it out and experiencing decreased inflammation, mental clarity, like all these different things, right? So yes, it's extreme. Yes, it's restrictive. Yes, people have benefits from it. Yes, there are some long-term drawbacks. I personally was just diving into this for the freaking fun of it, to try it out and to share the message that it is good to embrace change and that it is good to try new things and it is good to challenge ourselves. And that's it. that is it. That's where I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm going to share some more resources in the video description because I know that was something a lot of you guys were asking about as well. Like for some of the B-roll footage or interview footage that I shared in my original carnivore video, you're like, cool, I want to see where those interviews are. I'm going to link some stuff in the video description here so you guys can dive in if you're curious. But again, this was just for fun. So glad so many of you did receive the message very loud and clear. Try new things. Don't be afraid of what society deems to be right or wrong. Listen to your body, experiment, all that goodness. I feel like I'm redundant at this point. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was helpful to just hear from me face to face directly instead of just in the comment section. I love you so much. I'm so glad that you are here with me on this journey. I know that I dive into crazy things. I know that it can seem inconsistent when I jump around and do all these things, but I'm just playing my way through life, having fun with it, trying to do it in the most resourceful and responsible way, being discerning and all that goodness. So yeah, for those who resonate, I'm so glad you're here. For those who are confused but still curious, I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're all here, and I'm going to get off in front of my screens now. I've been in front of screens for a few hours prepping for this video, so I'm gonna get outside, go out to dinner, and I love you. See you soon.